Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys. It is Thursday, January 29th. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and we are joined by a very special guest, former pro hockey player. Very happy to have him on the Ice Guys show here, Brady Greco. Brady, welcome into the Ice Guys show. How are you doing today?
Good. I appreciate the invite, and it's been a minute, and I'm glad to be here. So I appreciate it and excited for today.
Yeah, no doubt. We are going to bring Brady on later on when we have another opportunity to bring him on, and he's got full more availability. We'll do a player suite interview with him. We'll talk more in depth about his playing background, his playing days. He was playing some junior hockey, pro hockey. We're talking 20 years ago. He's my age, basically. I'm 40, and he's in that same range. You were drafted, of course. I'll bring this up. By the Tampa Bay Lightning, of course, back in 2003 it was, right? 8th round pick, 2003, Tampa Bay Lightning. I know the NHL never made it to that level, but still, that's something that you carry right from your whole life, right? Hey, drafted to the NHL, pretty good.
Yeah, no, quick funny story about that. That was in 2003, and I knew I was going to get drafted. I didn't know which team I was going to. I had a couple interviews, and I was standing up in my sister's wedding that day, so I was able to enjoy that celebration, and then being drafted by the Lightning too was pretty special. So pretty special and a memorable day for me for sure.
So then it absolutely makes perfect sense that Brady follows the Lightning very closely, is down in Florida, and sees them play a lot, and is down in that Tampa Bay area. And we were just talking about how the weather is cold by Tampa standards down there right now at 67 Fahrenheit. And I kind of said to him in jest, you want to trade my 20 Fahrenheit for your 67? Because that's where we're at right now here in these
even
parts.
Cooler here in Minnesota. I think we're at 6 degrees Fahrenheit today. So.
Yeah, no doubt. But like I said, it is that's cool for Tampa, 67. But trust me, in these parts, we'd probably take that kind of a temperature. Let's look back quickly on last night. It was a very short show. The Betcast was great. We thank all our Patreon members for joining us last night on the Betcast. It was a lot of fun once again with our viewers and listeners of the show. And it was one hell of a profitable night. I mean, we saw each game go over the total, and we had first period and full game pieces of the over in all three games last night. Islanders take down the Rangers 5-2. The Rangers again holding out Artemi Panarin, of course, expecting to move him in the not too distant future. Islanders get the job done over the Rangers. Columbus now 6-1 under Rick Bowness since the coaching change. The Jackets continue to find ways to win. They beat Philadelphia 5-3 last night. And of course, in the third game, Colorado, one of the worst efforts you'll see them have all season. Less than 20 shots. Jared Bednar said flat, we weren't moving our feet. After the game, they lose 5-2 to the Ottawa Senators last night. All three games go over, and we cash the best bet, the first ever Grand Salami best bet for me on the show, which is over 19.5 goals in all three games combined. It got a little bit of a sweat at the end to get there, but it did. And like I said, I felt last night was a good night to look at the Grand Salami. And it sure proved that way. And how can we not forget to bring up, we all got in on it during the Philly-Columbus game. This just continues to be a phenomenal betting angle right now. When a player scores 2 goals, you immediately got to get to your book and bet the hat trick. It is unbelievable how many of these players are turning 2 goals into a hat trick lately in the NHL. And the latest example of it last night, Travis Konechny for the Philadelphia Flyers. I think we all got in the range of 600, 750 with Travis Konechny to get that hat trick. So that was great and excited to cash that. And I think a lot of us did on the Betcast last night. Alex, your thoughts on what we saw on Wednesday? A great night overall, pretty much for everybody.
I mean, it was fantastic. And like you said, the reason why we do these Betcasts was personified in yesterday's episode. I mean, not only just like I said, it's a lot of fun and the conversation, camaraderie is fantastic, but cashing the bets and the process that we go about when we're betting live, whether we're on live or not, we were able to execute it flawlessly. I mean, we had first period over in that Rangers Islanders game live, waited and got plus 180 with first goal, first period with the Islanders in that game, and then we all jumped in, like I said, as a group, getting second period over, second period team total over with the Islanders, seeing the pace of play that they were carrying, even though the Rangers got that first goal late in that first period, which shout out to JD, he had Mika Zibanejad at first Rangers goal. I mean, it was just we were just cashing everything left and right, and at high numbers too, not just minus 110, plus 110, plus 115. We're cashing things in the 600 range, 800 range, 1100 range, things of that nature, both hitting our at least one best bet as well. So it's an absolutely wonderful night.
Yeah, no doubt it was. Brady, did you catch any of the action? I know the TNT game was Philly-Columbus, and I'll relate it to your hockey background, Brady, the coach bump. It's a very real thing, it appears, in the NHL. We've seen it for years. You fire the coach, you bring in a new one, and that team has a great short-term run. And Brady, right now we're seeing that with the Columbus Blue Jackets, 6-1 since Rick Bowness took over as head coach there. But any thoughts from you on last night?
Yeah, well, I tuned into a little bit. I was actually studying for today's show, so I was more focused on the what do we have, 15 some games today?
I know, geez, man, I really did you a solid there. Yeah, make your Ice Guys debut in a 15-game slate. Yeah, sorry about that.
But no, it's good to see Columbus rebound. It's good to see the boys in the locker room gather behind coach, and it's hopefully bringing some new and some fresh ideas into the locker room, but only the city too, to see some. I got some Ohio friends down here in Florida, so they're starting to kind of talk in the buzz. So hopefully they can continue the way that they're winning and mesh well in the locker room together with the coach. So
yeah, I think, like I said, when they hit their first skid, and they probably will have one at some point under Rick Bowness, it's going to be whether they can turn the tide again. If that happens, once that happens, and if they can, then they've got something, Columbus. But the problem is they did dig themselves a big hole, and there's still a lot of work to be done for them as far as getting back into it. All right, it's a good thing the recap was shorter today, because we have ourselves a huge 15-game slate, and we are going to get into it right now, starting with Chicago and Pittsburgh. We've got the Penguins minus 180 home favorites, 6 the total here in this game. The Penguins, obviously, they're playing some really good hockey. I don't think anyone saw Pittsburgh being second place right now in the Metropolitan Division, 6 points out of first right now, firmly in a playoff spot right now. Like I said, that was unexpected, but what's been the reason? I think the reason's been, well, again, another great season for Sidney Crosby. Certainly, they have been able to score goals, but lately they've been playing better defensive hockey, the Pittsburgh Penguins. And to be honest, our guy, Stuart Skinner, who has been, traded in that trade with Edmonton, bringing him in, with our concerns about, both of those goalies involved in that transaction, Jari, who's now with Edmonton, and Skinner for Pittsburgh. But Skinner in Pittsburgh's been great, no question. And his play in net's been a big reason why the Penguins have put this run together. That being said, there is no Stuart Skinner tonight. It will be Arturs Shilovs getting the start here tonight for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And he is definitely a bit of at the moment, we have to call it like we see it. He is a bit of a drop-off from Skinner, the way Skinner's been playing for the Penguins since he joined the team. Shilovs has a 9-14 record, 3 goals against, .892 save percentage this season coming into this start. He's been not too bad lately, but overall the season numbers are mediocre. We'll see how he fares here against Chicago. It is going to be Arvid Soderblom here for the Blackhawks tonight. He figured he was going to get one of these games either tonight or tomorrow on the back-to-back against Columbus, but he will get this game here. I think there's some things to like about Chicago in this spot, and I know Alex will be happy to hear that, and I'll explain what it is. Pittsburgh's coming off the road trip, right? It's been a very lengthy road trip for them. They were out west. Now, they have been off since Sunday in Vancouver, so they have had some time to kind of get reacclimated and adjust their body clock to being back home again. But still, it's not an easy spot when you've been out west on a road trip like the Penguins have been. Plus, you have Chicago playing a second straight road game after a tough loss against Minnesota, 4-3 in a shootout where they led 3-0 and they couldn't hold the lead. But now it's the second leg of the Moms trip. Don't forget that. The Moms are still here with the Blackhawks, joining the team here in Pittsburgh. And one thing I will say, even though they lost, and Alex knows because that's his team, they played hard. They really did against Minnesota. Now, you could argue in the third period they didn't play well. They didn't play smart at times, but they definitely did play hard in that spot. And they do catch Pittsburgh in a little bit of a vulnerable spot. Now, Soderblom's the great X factor here. He's coming off a great start against Tampa Bay. We can all say he played great against the Lightning the last time we saw him, but we know he's prone to some of these inconsistencies where he looks great one game and maybe not so good the next. That being said, I think there's reasons to like Chicago here, and particularly early. Give me Chicago first goal, first period at one hell of a price here in the plus 155, plus 160 range. I like that quite a bit in this one. I like Chicago first period and full game money line split. I'm taking a shot here tonight with the Hawks in this spot, catching Pittsburgh off the road. And Pittsburgh's banged up, too. Let's not forget that right now. Malkin, it looks Malkin's going to play. That's the good news, but still without Brian Rust, who's going to be out for a period of time now for the Pittsburgh Penguins at this point in time. And like I said, there's a bit of a dubious spot with the mom still with Chicago. I think they're live here in this game. And while I have questions about Soderblom, Shelovs has been very mediocre himself for the Penguins this year. So I'll go with Chicago full game first period money line split. First goal, first period. Team total over 2.5, which is around minus 116. And I will just go with the full game over 6 here in this one with the Blackhawks and the Penguins. I think they've at this price, in this spot, I think Chicago's worth a look. The Moms are still with them. I expect a good effort. Whether it's enough to win, we'll see, but I expect a good effort. Alex, what do you think? Chicago, Pittsburgh?
Well, definitely liking this over. I grabbed over 6 yesterday. If you find any 6s still floating around, grab those if you can. Like I said, with a Soderblom start, especially now you add in Shelovs, who, yes, he's certainly the weaker of the two goaltenders, but still can have some formidable starts. But like you said, this is a bit of a tough angle for Pittsburgh. Not so fast, my friend. I like Hawks to score first goal, first period, but I am actually using that as a spot to buy on Pittsburgh in-game money line. I do not think the Hawks are going to win this game. And I know we've been looking at this whole trend of the Hawks. They've been a lot worse in the second half of back-to-backs, which we'll talk about later as they go home after this to take on Columbus. I think this trend may be flip-flopped a little bit, and I think it's got a lot to do with the goaltending. The reason why the Hawks were in that game, a lot of it had to do with Spencer Knight playing well. That game could have been chaotic with Hawks and Minnesota. Hawks were dominating for the first 30 minutes of play. They fell apart in the third. I think some coaching mistakes definitely in overtime, and the shootout kind of led to that demise as well. But this is a spot where the better team here is the Penguins, even with the coming back off the road. So give me Hawks first goal, first period. But at that point, I will be looking live to grab Pittsburgh at a better price.
Yeah, I agree with everyone in the chat talking about Brazeau with Raquel and Crosby. 100% in agreement there. If you're looking at a player prop on the Pittsburgh side tonight, and this is something like Brady said, I'm excited to learn on his debut here on the ice, guys. And I said, one of the things you're going to learn about some things that we look at, tried and true angles that have worked for us. And from a goal prop standpoint, it can actually be assists or points too. And Brady will be fascinated to know we love betting it when the player is moving up to the top line, like a Justin Brazeau, playing with Rickard Rakell and Sidney Crosby tonight on that top line because they don't adjust the prices when a player moves up to the top line. So as a result of that, you're able to get, a tremendous price with Justin Brazeau with his goal prop, with his assist prop, with his points prop, whatever you're interested in. Playing with Crosby, and you're seeing Justin Brazeau tonight, plus 350 to score a goal, plus 290 to get an assist, plus 170 to get a point. And he's on the top line. That's the kind of value you can really take advantage of if you look at the line combinations and you can find those players moving up the lineup. And Justin Brazeau, top line and getting great prices with his goal, assist, and point props tonight. Brady, what do you think here? What do you see in this game, Chicago-Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I'll take Chicago scoring first, but I think that will wake Pittsburgh up. I like that Malkin's in. I didn't know about the goalie situation before picking this, but I am going Pittsburgh. I think that the torch isn't going to be passed yet by Crosby to Bedard, and I think that Crosby has he's going to prove a little something tonight. So I'll take Pittsburgh.
All right, like in Pittsburgh here. One thing I will say too about this particular game, or sorry, not this particular, but Chicago, is I sent Alex this funny little video with the Hawks with Foligno. It's like Foligno, the dad and his 12 kids. Like, it's pretty amazing just, how much older he is than 90% of the Blackhawk roster right now. But it's pretty funny to see that, no question. But yeah, Justin Brazeau props make sense. By the way, Malkin has scored in 3 straight games for the Penguins. Mikheyev scored last game. Teravainen scored last game. To be honest, Teravainen's probably the one I'm interested in for Chicago because he scored last game. He's with Nazar and Bedard right now, it looks like, on the top line. That's a good call by Aaron in the chat. Anthony Mantha for Pittsburgh has done some damage against Chicago in the past. Goals in 4 of the last 5 against Chicago. So that could be something worth a look here as well. All right, Winnipeg and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay minus 190 home favorites, 5.5 being the total in this game. John Cooper, we've talked about just what an outstanding job he's done. Obviously, they've been without multiple starting defensemen. Braden Point has missed a bunch of games. Kucherov missed time earlier in the season as well. And yet here's Tampa Bay leading the Atlantic Division. And now they get Ryan McDonough back, still obviously without Emil Lilleberg and Victor Hedman. And Charles-Edouard Dastou is still out as well on the blue line for Tampa Bay. But they do get McDonough back, which does help alleviate the stress on that blue line. But Darren Radish playing as well as he has is what's really anchored the Lightning blue line in spite of the injuries. I mean, no one saw him playing this well at this point in time for the Tampa Bay Lightning, playing as well as he did on the blue line. So, like I said, it's been very awesome to see it. And I know Lightning fans appreciate what Radish has delivered for this team. This spot, I'm a little concerned about it for Tampa Bay. They've got the outdoor game on Sunday against Boston. Raymond James Stadium. Is it a look-ahead spot? We'll see. It's a big price. The question is, do I trust Winnipeg? Because this is a spot that kind of screams Winnipeg could be live. And I do want to bring mention to the fact that Winnipeg's beaten Tampa 5 of the last 6 meetings. It's actually been bizarre that the Jets have played the Lightning very, very well in recent years. And they got called out by Scott Arniel after the loss against Detroit on Saturday, 5-1. The Jets head coach saying it was pond hockey, embarrassing performance. And they responded. For as rough a season as the Jets have had, they responded against New Jersey. They came out with focus. They were dialed in. They had intensity. They outplayed the Devils. They got the lead early. They got up 3-1. They ended up winning that game by a score of 4-3. So like I said, I'm going to sprinkle on the Jets here at this price in this spot. It's obviously, look, still not easy to back them against, quality foes like this. But for Tampa, I don't love this spot. With the outdoor game looming, Winnipeg has had recent success against Tampa as well. So I will sprinkle on the Jets here tonight at plus 160. Alex, what do you think here in Winnipeg, Tampa Bay?
It's not shocking that Winnipeg's had a good record against Tampa. Remember, this is just a recent development of Winnipeg sucking. All right. Winnipeg was once, they won the President's Trophy last year. This is a really good franchise in the grand scheme of things over the last 5 years. Just now they're going through their struggles and looking like a team that is a bottom feeder. So it makes sense that they've played well against Tampa historically. And it wouldn't shock me, like I said, catching Tampa. We saw this with Florida, or sorry, not Florida, but we saw this blanket. Yeah, it was Florida for the Winter Classic. We faded Florida in that last game for the Winter Classic, and I think the Rangers as well too. But we were fading the Rangers for other reasons because we've been fading the Rangers most of the year. But these are spots where they can be kind of tricky for those teams getting ready for that Winter Classic. So I like the over by Fecta here. First period over 1.5, you get minus $1.08, very cheap price pregame. You don't find that too often, especially finding a 5.5 where you're going over under at minus $1.10 pregame as well. So I think we see goals here. Maybe a slight lean the Jets first goal, first period. We did cash with that last time. Maybe we could see that carry over, but I like the over by Fecta more here. Like I said, wouldn't be shocked to see Winnipeg win this game. I'm not going to take a shot with them within 60, but I think they could at least get tripped up enough defensively, even with McDonough coming back. We talk about that. Okay, you've had these cluster injuries, but just plugging guys back in doesn't necessarily fix the situation the first go around with those guys back in the lineup. So give me the over by Fecta here.
All right, over by Fecta. I lean over as well. I might add that, but right, for now, just Tampa, Winnipeg plus money for me, but I lean over as well. Hellebuck and Vasilevsky are the goaltenders here tonight for this one. So you've got a couple of the veteran goalies going head-to-head here in this matchup. As far as props going, we'll get Brady's thoughts. He knows the Lightning very well, being, of course, situated where he is. Anthony Cirelli has scored in back-to-back games for Tampa. Darren Radish, back-to-back games with a goal. Obviously, he's been a point machine, back-to-back games with a point. Cirelli's also on a 4-game point streak as well for Tampa Bay entering tonight. And here's an interesting one as well for Winnipeg. Just out of the blue here for the Jets coming into this game tonight. He's down on the fourth line, but he scored for the Jets in back-to-back games. Cole Koepke, and believe it or not, he is a guy that I believe was drafted by Tampa Bay, and he started his NHL career with Tampa Bay, Cole Koepke. So we've got a former player angle, and he's all of a sudden down on the fourth line, scored in back-to-back games for the Winnipeg Jets. He's 1,100, plus 1,100 to score tonight. That's some value worth sprinkling on. Cole Koepke for the Winnipeg Jets. And again, former player angle as well, because he started his career with Tampa early on. Brady, what do you think? This is a team you know well, Lightning, hosting the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, no, I put a lot of actually thought into this. Like you said, coming up on Sunday, they have Boston for the Stadium Series. So wondering how heads will be. And if it's, but they, like you mentioned, they have McDonough coming back in the lineup. I think that's a veteran squad coached by Coach Cooper that he's been doing a heck of a job, not only, in the past, but this season with the injuries and stuff. But yeah, I'll still take Tampa. I will say I like this Dominic James kid that's been really doing well. I think he's a little spark plug. He's getting better in the defensive zone, so he's one of my props that I'm going to take for tonight. Him getting a goal, but Radish, like you said, he's fun to watch. We just re-signed Moser, so we're going to get Hedman back. So there's going to be some things that we need to do on the back end. But it's nice to see these guys coming up from Syracuse and filling in and really, flourishing in the opportunity that they're given. So I'll take Tampa tonight, even with the game coming up. I think that they'll be excited. And I think that, like you said, too, Ian, I think 5 of 6 games that Winnipeg has won. And that reminds me, like, New York Islanders have swept Tampa this season, too. So some of those teams, it's hard for the Tampa to get up for, but I think they got them tonight.
And plus it is Winnipeg, kind of, like we said, Winnipeg's kind of, not always trustworthy. This has been a down season for the Jets. It's just the spot and the price are good enough. This is not a ringing, through the roof endorsement of the Jets. This is just for me betting a solid spot for Winnipeg, a bit of a tricky, worrisome spot for Tampa, and the price you're getting here. And a team that's done well head-to-head the last few seasons against Tampa Bay. Yes, I should mention a good job by Robert. Vlad Nemesnikov is a former Tampa Bay Lightning player as well, now with the Winnipeg Jets. So if you buy into the former player angle, you could go that route as well. All right, Los Angeles, Buffalo. We've got Buffalo minus 130, home favorites, 6 the total. This is clearly Sabres or pass, and you're not going to see me betting the LA Kings. But what I will say is we will give LA some credit. They've actually won 3 in a row. They beat Detroit, a very good Red Wings team, in their last game. They've been better on the road all season than they've been at home. And for Buffalo, beating Toronto was a big win for them. This is not the best, scheduling situation for the Sabres. I believe over the weekend they've got another important game coming up with a team that they're in direct competition with. So like I said, there's some concerns a little bit about, obviously they're playing great. 7-4 over Toronto, a hat trick from Rasmus Dahlin, and a 5-point night. No question. Like I said, I'm not stepping in front of Buffalo, but you play Montreal, obviously, on Saturday after this. And in between the Toronto game on Tuesday and the Montreal game on Saturday, you've got the LA Kings, an out-of-conference team. You know what I mean? It's just not a great spot here in the schedule for the Buffalo Sabres. I want no part of LA, but this is not the spot I'm all that excited about betting Buffalo. I lean Buffalo. What I will do, and I mentioned this with Jimmy on his show earlier, if the Kings lead, and we know how many times they've blown games this year. We know it. And obviously the playoffs against Edmonton still stand out. If LA takes the lead, I'll bet Buffalo live at plus price for sure, because I'm still leery of trusting the Kings to close out a game against team playing as well as Buffalo. So that's going to be my approach. Buffalo at plus money if they trail at any point in this game tonight. Alex, what do you think here? Kings Sabres.
Yeah, I like Kings first goal, first period, plus 140. And I'm also liking this first period over 1.5. I got minus $1.12 earlier at FanDuel, but that's also a good look. He said Buffalo Live, if they're trailing, definitely makes sense because this is a Kings team you can't trust throughout 60 minutes. And it's a Buffalo team. Listen, I called them out on the other night with that game with Toronto. I said, this is a game that you have to win. You have to treat Toronto like they're the Toronto that you've been playing and facing the last 10, 15 years. Treat them like they're the better team, even though they clearly aren't, and win that game. And they took over and to dominate, especially in that third period. It was a back and forth game. That third period is where they really took over and put their foot on Toronto's throat. And you have to do that. You have to. Those are the wins that build you confidence. Yes, you should have a ton of confidence going in, winning 16 of your last 21 games. But it's how you play and the way you close games out. And I was very impressed by what I saw from that win the other day against the Leafs. This is the Sabres team we can take seriously now. And so I look at Buffalo, but like I said, wait for a better price live. Give me Kings first goal, first period, and then we grab Buffalo in game. But also like that over in the first period as well.
Yeah, the first period overs for Buffalo have been strong. I might even sprinkle on that. I always get, a little queasy thinking of overs involving the LA Kings, but maybe Buffalo could be sluggish out of the gate. And if they give up an early goal, which I do have a sense that might happen tonight, that would open up the game. If
both teams to score. Both teams to score first, maybe a solid look in game as well.
I think I might put that on the card. Little first period over, both teams to score, first period split. Makes some sense. We could see that. Then maybe it slows down a bit after that. Because I will say Lyon, who's going to get the call tonight for Buffalo, it looks like, in net with UPL injured. And obviously they're not going to put Colton Ellis in. Lyon has been very solid lately. He's been playing well in net for the Sabres. Brady, what do you think here, LA Buffalo?
Yeah, I like actually LA first goal, first period, coming off the 5-1 victory in Detroit or from Detroit the other day, and I think they're going to carry that, especially with the sluggish Buffalo team. But I believe Buffalo will come from behind and end up doing what Buffalo does this season and winning. So I got Buffalo here, but the Kings first goal, first period.
There you go, first goal, first period. And that's been a great market for pretty much all of us. We've talked about how great it is that we found that. We do have a bunch of players that are in goal-scoring streaks. Tuck, Thompson, Dahlin, all for Buffalo, have scored in 2 consecutive games, back-to-back games with a goal for all 3 of them. I would say don't sleep on Jack Quinn either. Jack Quinn, streaky player. For the Buffalo Sabres, but he's now got a point in 3 straight games. He scored against Toronto. Josh Doan, we always talk about, is worth consideration. I would say Corey Perry, again, there's value with him playing on the top line with Laferriere and Kempe. So he'd be the one I'd be most interested targeting for the LA Kings right now. The old man up there on the top line. Those are great numbers by Tim. Tim's all over these goals saved above average stats in the chat from these goalies. And look at Lyon, the last 10 games. Plus 9.8 goals saved above expected for Alex Lyon. So he has been really good, and he's capable of playing well, and he's in one of those grooves right now for the Buffalo Sabres. Utah, Carolina. Carolina minus 170, home favorite, 6 the total. Some very unfortunate injury news for the Utah Mammoth. It's a team that's already been without, obviously, Logan Cooley for a while, but now Dylan Guenther out of the lineup for the Utah Mammoth. Lower body injury ruled out. His second straight game that he will miss. He did not play against Florida either. And wouldn't you know it, they beat Florida, obviously, without Guenther. First game without a key player in the lineup. We talk about it all the time. They all step up. They did that against Florida. Might be a little bit more difficult to do that here tonight against Carolina at home. A Hurricanes team that actually, for as condensed as the schedule has been, this is actually a little bit of a break here for Carolina. They haven't played since that 4-1 win Saturday night in Ottawa. That's almost like that's a crazy amount of time off for what we've seen this season. With seems like teams are playing so many back-to-backs, so many 3 and 4 nights, that for Carolina to have a period of the schedule from Saturday to Thursday without a game. So they should be fresh. They should have They should be full of energy here coming into this game tonight against the Utah Mammoth. We'll see if they play like it here in this game. They obviously have a very strong 18-8-2 home record. I'm going to dabble in two things here. These are small bets because I initially passed on this game, but I'm going to go first period puck line Carolina. I could see them really getting out of the gate strong with the rest that they've had since Saturday. So like I said, I like the value with Carolina to lead after 20 minutes, minus a half, plus 140. And I will also dabble in that team total over 3.5, plus 105 for Carolina here in this game. To be honest, I don't mind Utah team total under in this game. Brandon Bussey is going to be a net, it looks like, for the Carolina Hurricanes. 3 straight starts, 6 of his last 7, he has won. And during that span, over those 7 starts, 1.72 is his goals against, 927 save percentage. And to think they picked this guy off waivers at one point, Brandon Bussey, and the way he's played, it's been really, really amazing to watch. So it does feel like there's a bit of a tough spot. This is also 3rd and 4 on the road for Utah, after playing the back-to-back down in Florida earlier this week and missing, of course, Gunther, their best goal scorer, I would say. Alex, what do you think here, Utah, Carolina?
2 teams, East versus West, needing points. Like you said, kind of a tough spot for Utah, especially missing guys. I think this is going to be kind of a rock fight. I like the draw here. I got it plus 330 at Bet Online. I also have Canes to win the game in overtime or shootout, plus 550 over at FanDuel. And I haven't done one of these in a while with the draw play, but Seth Jarvis to score the overtime game-winning goal at 60-1, also available at FanDuel.
Now, one thing that's worth noting, too, is Vejmelka's gone over his saves prop 2 straight games. And we know Carolina at home. What do? We've said it all the time. Shot volume. They rack up the shots on goal at home. This could be one of those. Now, the fear is that they light him up and he gets pulled. But if that doesn't happen, and obviously Perlo bets this market and others bet it more than me, the goalie saves props. But tonight, this makes sense. This could be a Karel Vejmelka over saves night here for the Utah Mammoth. What do you think here, Brady, Utah, Carolina?
Yeah, I like some of the things that you mentioned. They've been in Florida, the Mammoth have down here, and then now they're playing Carolina. But I think, like you mentioned, Carolina has a lot of time off, so that's gonna, I think, affect their first period. So again, I'll go first period by Utah, but I'm picking Carolina to win, and I'll have Nicky Schmaltz goal in there too.
There you go, tricky Nicky Schmaltz, and definitely he's going to have to step up. I'll tell you that right now. With no no Dylan Gunther, they need more from Keller. They need more from Schmaltz. They need more from Lawson Krause. We'll see if he can step up offensively, given his spot in the lineup right now. But yeah, Schmaltz did score last game as well. You can get him plus 255. Barrett Hayton scored last game, 425. Those are the guys they need to step up right now for the Utah Mammoth. For Carolina, as far as props go, I would say if you look at their lineup, I would go with, the line that's been good for them is Hall, Stankoven, and Blake. Now, those 3 guys have developed some nice chemistry. So if you want to look at any of those 3 players for the Canes tonight for props, I wouldn't talk anyone out of it. All right, Nashville, New Jersey. We've got New Jersey minus 140, home favorites, 5.5 the total. I'm just going to keep my reasoning behind the bet very simple. New Jersey's a favorite. Give me the other team. That's where I'm at right now. New Jersey's a favorite. Give me the other team. I like Nashville here. I like the value here with the Predators, plus 120. When you look at Nashville, they've played a murderer's row schedule, too. We don't often talk about strength of schedule, but it matters here in this matchup. New Jersey has been plodding around with 500 mediocre hockey, facing a weak schedule. They played Seattle, Carolina, Seattle twice, Vancouver, Calgary, Winnipeg. There's been some weaker teams on New Jersey's schedule, and they're only 500 in their last 10 games. Nashville's only 500 in their last 10 games, and Nashville is just 1-4 in their last 5. But look at their schedule. Edmonton, Colorado, Vegas, red-hot Buffalo. Ottawa's ticked up. Utah was red-hot when Nashville played them. Boston, where the Bruins have played very well this season. So you look at all of a sudden Nashville's recent struggles, and you're like, well, hold on now. They've played a real tough schedule. Good teams. The teams playing well at the time that Nashville played them. And obviously in the case of Boston, Boston's got a tremendous home record. So like I said, it's been a tough schedule they've cut their teeth on, the Predators. Now they're actually taking a step down in class here. And this is just, New Jersey not consistent enough, not good enough. And quite honestly, when you look at some of the injuries they're dealing with, not healthy enough. Steph Nason, Luke Hughes, Cody Glass repair, Cody Glass replace. He's on the injury list right now for the New Jersey Devils, and he had been playing well for them. So I like Nashville here, plus 120. My one fear is I don't have goalie confirmations yet, that maybe it could be a Justus Onanen start, but I do think it's going to be Saros. To me, this is actually, I would play Nashville regardless of who's in net for them. This is just New Jersey at a price range as a favorite. I flat out do not trust them in. So Nashville plus 120, and I also like over 5.5 here in this game. I think the total's light enough that we can get it up and over the total. Keep in mind Nashville on a 6-1 over streak in their last 7 games coming into tonight. Alex, what do you think here? Nashville, New Jersey.
I bet this draw earlier. I grabbed plus 318 over at Bet Online earlier. I'm going to add Predators to win in overtime or shootout plus 550. And it's projected to be Saros, but if it is confirmed Saros, then I'll grab the full game money line. If it's on it, then that's a little shaky. Like I said, I like the draw regardless of which goalie, but it's a little harder to back on it and trying to get a victory, even if against New Jersey. But I agree with you fully. This is a step down in class. This is the game the Predators should win. If they're looking to be serious and keep in this wild card race, these are 2 points you need tonight. You need to at least grab one. So I am on the draw. More than likely we'll be dog and draw. We just need confirmation of UC Saros.
Yeah, I think I might join you on the draw now that I see it, because 2 of the last 3 meetings in Jersey have been overtime games between the Predators and the Devils. So I'll add the draw as well. So Nashville money line over 5.5 draw for me. Brady, what do you like in here? Predators, Devils.
Yeah, I'm with the draw here. I think they can take a little breath stepping down in class playing the Devils, but I do think that they need to come away with at least 1 point, like Alex said, hopefully 2. But yeah, no, I have Nashville. Or I have a draw, really.
Liking the draw more. Yeah, the draw is actually worth a bet. I agree now that I look at it. And by the way, we don't have confirmations yet with the goalies for Nashville. I'm going to stick with Nashville money line, even if it is on. Onanen has had the odd good start lately. It's not been every single time just getting blasted like earlier in the season. And it's not like New Jersey's an offensive dynamo right now either. So
That's
like
true.
I said, but I would prefer Saros, even though we've talked about how Saros has been freaking overworked and the workload's getting to him of late. But he's still probably a little more, not a little, he is more trustworthy than Onanen. Even if he's being worked a little too hard. Yeah, Stamkos props. Jonathan has mentioned them a lot. I mean, it's hard not to. He often scores. And I am on it too. Jonathan's on it because he mentioned it in our group chat. Don't sleep on this Finnish guy for Finland, for New Jersey. Lenny Haminaho for the New Jersey Devils. That's right. This guy has suddenly stepped up, and he's scored in multiple games lately. 4 of the last 10 he's scored for the, 2 of the last 5, I should say, he's scored for the Devils, including the last game, and you can get him north of plus 500 to find the back of the net. I think Jonathan's on first goal for him as well, because both of his goals were Devils' first goals. So, yeah, Haminaho here for the New Jersey Devils. I think at that price it's worth a look, because he has definitely been starting to get a little more ice time too, and trust when the coach sees him starting to chip in offensively the way he is. I would say that it looks like Evgeny Dodonov for the Devils is being moved up to the Hughes-Bratt line, so there's probably some value there as far as his prop in this game. So there's a couple of value plays here for the New Jersey Devils. I would say if you're going to look at anyone for Nashville, stick to the regulars that have been getting it done for them. Stamkos, O'Reilly, Auto Parts, Ryan O'Reilly, another one. And here's one that I'm going to sprinkle on for Nashville, Eric Howla. Former player angle, 3 years with New Jersey, now with the Nashville Predators. I'll buy in that Eric Howla maybe has a chance to find the back of the net here tonight for the Nashville Predators here in this game. All right, next up we've got Colorado, Montreal. Colorado minus 120, minus 125, road favorite, 6.5 the total in this game. I actually got the chance to see Jared Bednar's presser after the terrible game against Ottawa, where it looked like they were just they was bad. 18 shots. They got outplayed badly in that game by the Senators. And Jared Bednar used the words flat, weren't moving our feet, made it easy on them defensively. Coach wasn't that happy. Now, of course, he said it in the typical, we didn't really move. The typical Jared Bednar tone of voice doesn't really show a ton of oomph in his voice half the time, but he wasn't happy. You could definitely tell. And I think Colorado will come out of the gate a lot better here tonight. And as we often say with the teams on the back-to-back, like Colorado is here, they often are at their best, at their sharpest, and at their strongest early in the game. And I think you're going to see that here tonight from them. So this is my favorite first goal, first period of the night. Colorado plus 110. I think they will respond for sure. This is a great bet. This is a better bet for me than Colorado full game money line. I'm on Colorado as well, minus 120, but I like the first goal, first period most of all, and the first period money line. Those are the better looks, in my opinion. The early part of the game with Colorado on the back-to-back. So those I like more than the full game. Full game is a smaller bet. The primary bets are first goal, first period, plus 110, first period money line. And I am on this over 6.5. The games in Montreal between these two teams have soared over the total repeatedly, and I will wait for over 1.5 in the first period to show up at a better price during the opening period. So that's the approach there for me. Alex, what do you think? Colorado, Montreal.
Yeah, we were talking about it yesterday, and I like this as well. That first goal, first period got plus 110. I also took Brock Nelson to score the first goal of the game. You can grab that at FanDuel plus 1,300. It's not going to be my bargain bin, but it's bargain bin price, obviously, that high. But I also like both teams to score in the first, plus 150. It would not shock me for Montreal to respond back after that Avs goal in this one. So first goal, first period for the Avs. Brock Nelson hopefully to score that first goal at 13-1, and then both teams to score within the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, no doubt. And like I said, Montreal, look, they have stepped up and beat a really good Vegas team in their last game, and maybe they can show they can do it again. And Dobish was good, but like I said, I think they're going to get. The problem is with Colorado, as bad as they were last night, Montreal will probably get a hell of an effort out of the gate from the Avs. Will they be able to handle it's the question. What do you think here in this one, Brady? Colorado, Montreal.
Yeah, I'm still sticking with the theme of first goal, first period. I like actually McKinnon with the Avalanche to do that. And I think that Colorado.
So you like McKinnon first Avs goal? That's a good look.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. First Avs goal, McKinnon. Yeah, he's got it. He was invisible last night, quite honestly.
You hit the nail on the head. I mean, they were flat, and I think that's the best word. So I think they get their legs back. I think what Marty St. Louis is doing in the Montreal Canadiens is instilling work ethic. It's going to be a tough Canadiens team for 3 periods, but I think Colorado comes on top, and I'll take the over with the total of 6.52. I think it's going to be a lot of scoring.
Yeah, and Jonathan highlighted it for us. Look at those total goals in Montreal. The last 3 Habs games in Montreal, 9, 7, and 12. So there you go. They've been obviously very high scoring indeed. All right, good stuff there. As far as props, I mean, Terry Edelman, we see him in the chat. I know he's been betting the Cole Caulfield every game to score 6 straight games with a goal. I certainly wouldn't talk anyone out of it, but plus 145. It's the. I like better prices than that, but obviously, if you've been riding it,
I'll wait on Saturday nights. I'm gonna start betting Caulfield anytime goal and Caulfield 2 points on Saturdays.
Yeah, because Saturdays he's been Saturdays he's absolutely popped off. You're right in a lot of those instances, no question about that. Oh yeah, Victor Olofsson. Even though last night the whole team was bad. Oh, and Arturi Lehkonen back in Montreal. Yeah, I'm interested. Arturi Lehkonen back in Montreal. Definitely think there's a chance that he's able to do some damage here tonight for the Avs back against his former team. All right, next up, Philadelphia Flyers, Boston Bruins. We've got Boston minus 145, minus 150 in some spots as home favorites. The total here is at 6 shaded to the over in this game. Now, I'm kind of talking out of both ends of my mouth when I say this because we talked about how Tampa Bay might be in a look ahead to the outdoor game. Maybe Boston is too, because Boston's got the outdoor game down in Tampa after this. But I just don't know if I trust this version of Philadelphia right now. You're on a back-to-back after losing to Columbus. I damn sure do not want to back Philly with Sam Ersson in net right now for the Flyers. That I will not do. And now Travis Konechny, what a warrior. Played through that game last night with a foot issue. Got the hat trick for us. We all bet that live hat trick with Konechny. What a warrior. But it does leave his status in doubt here for this game tonight on the back-to-back. Last I checked, he hasn't been ruled out, but it's not a for sure that he's going to be able to play tonight here for the Flyers in this game. Elias Lindholm out for Boston. Jeremy Swayman confirmed in net. Again, Erson's not confirmed, but they're not going to put, I think, Vladar in a back-to-back when he's just come back from injury. So I think it will be Erson. I decided to go with Boston team total over 3.5. They're at home where they've been absolutely dynamite this season. I went with Bruins team total over 3.5, split with over 6 full game with the Flyers and the Bruins. I will wait for a first period over at a little better price. Alex, what do you think here? Philly, Boston.
That's funny because I grabbed first period over minus 126 earlier, and I said I wanted to wait for the full game. And like I said, it's predicated, like I said, seeing connecting, possibly being out of this, that may hurt that little punch for Philadelphia's offense as far as the full game goes. I do have a piece of the draw, plus 345. I grabbed that at Bet Online. Caesars also has the game to go to OT, yes, option plus 340. So shop around and grab those prices here. But I can see this one being close enough to where it goes a little past 60. I'm just worried about whether the offense will be there, if this is going to be a 2-2 overtime game or a 4-4 overtime game. But I do like goals early in the first period, so I am on that over along with the draw.
Good value look by Aaron Middlestat. Casey Middlestat for Boston. He is playing well right now. Assist in 6 straight games, plus 255 for an assist, and he's gotten an assist in 6 straight games, 9 assists in those 6, multi-points in 4 of those 6, and over 1.5 points for Middlestat, plus 800. So that is some real great prices and value right now for him as far as props. That's a good find there. For me, I would keep going. Geeky obviously is heating up again. So Morgan Geeky props for Boston, absolutely. And Minton with Pasternak on the top line now. Give me Fraser Minton. I think Minton could do some damage with Pasternak and Geeky on that top line for the Boston Bruins here tonight as well. So a couple props I like for the Boston side. What do you think here, Brady? Philly, Boston.
Yeah, I think Boston actually. I think with the lineup changes, like you mentioned, I think that they'll find some goals and gel. And I just think I've watched Philly a couple times, and they just look sluggish and slow. So I got Boston here.
Sounds like we've been talking about Philly looking sluggish and slow for 20 years. It kind of feels like that, quite honestly.
It does.
Yeah, more often than not, that's what we've been talking about. And what's really hurting Philadelphia? This Matvei Mishkov stuff is concerning. Like, he's just not popping. He really isn't. And you spent a first-round pick on that guy, and your franchise has been in such disarray for decades. You can't be swinging and missing on first-round draft picks. And I'm not saying we've closed the book on his career, but we're not seeing progress. We're not seeing progress out of Matvei Mishkov right now. And I know they were talking about it on the broadcast last night. And that's a big, grave concern I think that I'd have if I'm Danny Briere and Keith Jones right now. All right, Battle of New York. I've got to see this again. Yes, unfortunately we do. Second straight night, Rangers and Islanders. This time at MSG, Islanders minus 130, road favorites, 5.5 the total. I'm just going to keep it simple here. 2 bets. I'm just on the Islanders again. Minus 130. I think they can sweep the home and home. Certainly John Massey keeps telling us that that's going to happen. And they've actually got the better goaltending matchup. You could argue the Islanders won last night in spite of the fact that, Riddick versus Martin, kind of gives, the Rangers a bit more of a chance because Riddick hasn't been great lately. But now you go from that to Ilya Sorokin for the Islanders, who's been great, coming off a shutout win against the Flyers, and Jonathan Quick, who's really struggled, of late for the New York Rangers. And like I said, I think I'm just going to take the Islanders here, minus 130. And we know the Rangers have been dreadful at home all year. What is it, 6-18? They are on home ice. So yeah, Islanders minus 130. And just because of the fact it's been cashing, I think it's 9 straight now, first period over for the New York Rangers. I think it's 9 straight first period overs for the Rangers. So we'll ride that once again. Alex, what do you think here? Islanders, Rangers.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Although I can add the team total. I got over 3.5 plus 126. I don't think the Owls are going to let up either against their rivals, especially like say you being on the road. So yeah, Islanders minus 130. You can take. I wouldn't mind regulation either, honestly. But I played 130 along with that first period over. I got minus 118 that's still available at FanDuel, and team total over 3.5 plus 126. Price right now at FanDuel.
All right, Brady, what do you think here? Battle of New York.
No, I think the Islanders take it. I think there's too much stuff going on in the organization with New York right now that I think it's a stepping stone, especially with the youth that they have in the Islanders, that they go into MSG today and or tonight and show them that they are kings of New York, at least for this season. So I'm taking the Islanders minus 130.
There you go. Team total. And I'm not a big team total over guy with the Islanders, but this could be the night to trust them to get to at least 3 goals. Isles team total over 3 starts with Quick. Have had 3 goals against in 8 straight. So there you go. Maybe you dabble in that. And 0-8 on the second of back-to-backs for the Rangers. So, yeah, definitely. I might add that Islanders team total over for a little bit here as well. I'm on Heineman prop. I'm on for a goal. I'm going back to J.G. Pajot, bargain bin special winner last night for me. Jean-Gabriel Pajot for the Islanders. He's now scored in back-to-back games. I'm going to go back to the well, plus 500. Sign me up. See if he can make it 3 straight games with a goal here for the New York Islanders, and probably Duclair. We'll go with Anthony Duclair one more time just because he's on the top line and in a good spot. All right, Washington, Detroit. We've got Detroit minus 130, home favorite, 6.5 the total in this game. What a weird, bizarre scheduling spot. I mean, if Brady was playing in the NHL, he'd be pissed at this, that they would do this to Washington. Washington's on the road. You can't just send Washington home off a long West Coast trip. No, you got to make a pit stop in the Motor City here, Detroit, and then they finally get home after this. It's just they've done this before, too. It's just bizarre. One game they're in Detroit after being on the West Coast and on the road for multiple games in a row, and they've got to make this one stop in Detroit and then finally get home, the Capitals. I guess the fear of this game for me with backing Detroit is Washington's was not happy after the Seattle game, 5-1 loss. Carberry kind of criticized the team. Tom Wilson was livid, angry, upset, voiced his frustration after that game as well. I don't know if that's enough to save Washington or produce a victory here, though. They're not playing well right now. Their defense is falling apart. They gave up 11 goals to Seattle and Edmonton combined. In fact, they have now given up 4 goals or more in 4 of their last 6 games. So they have had a real tough time keeping the puck out of that. 5 of their last 6 games, they've given up at least 4 goals. So this is a problem right now for Washington. And Detroit's off a loss to L.A. They haven't been losing many games lately, and Detroit off a loss has been very good this season. Very good numbers for the Red Wings off a loss. So I'm going to go Red Wings money line team total over split here. And we are going to get Charlie Lindgren in net because they just announced earlier today Logan Thompson's day-to-day with an injury. So he won't be in net. It will be Charlie Lindgren. And the last time we saw Charlie Lindgren, Edmonton was lighting him up in that 6-5 win for the Oilers, and his numbers have not been good this season. Certainly not as good as we've seen the last couple of years with the Capitals. So with Lindgren in net, give me Red Wings money line, Red Wings team total over 3.5 at a plus price. I don't hate the full game over either. I just wonder how much contributions Washington are going to make to it, knowing they got to face John Gibson, who has been absolutely stellar since December 1st. Alex, what do you think here? Washington, Detroit.
Yeah, I feel like this could be kind of a tight game. And I know, like I said, Lindgren hasn't been looking that sharp, but now it's gonna be his crease for a while. Like I said, with Thompson out day to day, and he said we've been seeing a very good outings from Gibson of late. So this is one where I grabbed the draw, but I did take Wings to win in overtime or shootout plus 550. Like I said, I just think they're the better of the 2 teams. But I think this one could be tight enough where it goes past 60.
All right, there you go. Draw and Detroit in overtime or a shootout to win the game. That's been a market. FanDuel is primarily where Alex takes that bet. But, yeah, that's been one that he's gone to quite a bit. Brady, what do you think here? Caps, Wings.
I got the Wings here. I think coming off that 5-1 loss the other day, I don't think that they took that well, and I think they're going to respond to a Washington Capitals team that like you said, are going to be pissed that they have to make a pit stop in Detroit. So I got Detroit, and I don't think it's going to be even a close game. And I got Patrick Kane with a prop too.
There you go. Did you take him goal?
Goal,
prop? Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. That's what I thought. Yeah, Patrick Kane. Sir Patrick Kane, as Alex often says. But it's Alex is a Blackhawks fan, by the way, Brady. So you can imagine the feeling of him watching him play for the Detroit Red Wings right now.
Absolutely fucking hate it.
Yeah. That's a tough beat, man. That's a bad beat.
That's a bad beat. Yeah. Great betting reference there. Absolutely. Yeah, it is. It's going to be one of those deals there where it's going to be, once he gets through this chapter of his career and he hangs up the skates, Blackhawk fans will block out the portion of his career that he played with Detroit. I'm sure of it. He'll be he's like, let's be honest, regardless of how things end with Detroit, whether he wins a cup there or how long he plays there, whatever the case may be, he's a Hawk for life, obviously. There's no question about that, but it's still difficult because we're old enough. You're old enough too. You're in your 40s, Brady. You were old enough to remember Chicago-Detroit division rivalries, one of the fiercest rivalries in the NHL. So
it's awesome to see him to get back to that. So when the Wings and any original 16 when they're going, and it's fun to see Chicago getting back up there, and same with Detroit. So that rivalry is always fun to watch.
Yeah, that's I think from the overall health and stamina of the league, it's not good when either Chicago or Detroit suck. That is for sure. And they are both markets that the Gary Bettman and the NHL need. As far as props, what do we need here for this game? As far as props, there are a couple here. I would say still for Detroit, Marco Kasper, still with Larkin and Raymond. I'll keep betting it. Hopefully he's going to pot one of these times up on that spot. But like I said, there's certainly value. For Washington, I would say Ethan Frank and Protas, if you're going to look for value. Ethan Frank's with Ovechkin. Protas had been scoring a little bit more lately. Before nobody scored against Seattle. They only scored one goal. But like I said, and Tom Wilson does have good numbers against John Gibson. Worth mentioning that, as Jonathan puts that in the chat. Florida, St. Louis. Florida minus 160, road favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. Florida off the loss to Utah. Kind of a scheduled loss, right? We voiced concern about Florida off the successful, perfect road trip through Winnipeg, Chicago, Minnesota, coming back home for the one-game stop over, where they also lost to San Jose just recently in that same situation. Now back on the road here against St. Louis. Kind of feels like the Panthers right the ship. Panthers have been good off a loss the last few times as well. I'm just going to go with Florida team total here, over 3.5. I think that's the way to go. St. Louis has given up, 9 goals in the last 2 games combined to LA and Dallas in those 2 losses. When you're giving up 5 goals to LA, that's a problem. So clearly, I think Florida's got a chance to get 4. Now, they are going to face Hofer, not Binnington. He is the better option for St. Louis, but even he's given up some goals here the last couple times we've seen him. So Florida Panthers, team total over 3.5 for me. Alex, Panthers, Blues.
Same thing I got plus 116 this morning with the team total. I couldn't bring myself to go full game over by factor because I just don't trust in what St. Louis could do offensively. This feels like it could be a game where Florida really kind of clamps down and dominates there in a 4-0 win. So you'd be riding on mostly their offense with that over 5.5. Just play it safe for the over 3.5 Florida.
And yeah, I'm on the team total because minus 160 with the money line is just a little too pricey. A little too expensive with that. So it's like the Enterprise Rent-A-Car commercial. Sounds expensive with the grandma. I always reference that. Absolutely. But like I said, I think the Florida team total just for a little bit more value. I will say this. The one thing I am concerned about is I did see Anton Lundell's name on the injury report, and he is out for Florida. I don't like that, but hopefully they can overcome it still in this game. St. Louis is even worse with their injury situation. Kyrou day-to-day, Neighbors day-to-day. Holloway was just placed on long-term IR. He's going to be out. I think that's probably the end of his season at this point. And Danil Tarasov will get the start in net for Florida. I don't mind Tarasov one bit right now. He has been awesome. 4 straight wins in 4 straight starts, 2 goals or less in all 4 starts for Danil Tarasov. I have no fears right now backing Florida with him in net. He's been very good in the last 4 starts. Excellent. In fact, Brady, what do you think here? Florida, St. Louis.
Yeah, Florida team total. I think that they're going to respond, and I haven't watched the Blues a lot, but when I have watched the Blues,
you're not missing much.
That's what I was just gonna say. I haven't really been missing much, so I like Florida here.
Yeah, no doubt. I think Florida bounces back. By the way, another thing, too, to point out is I'm going to say this in a whisper tone because it's going to be shocking and some people may not believe it. Tarasov's kind of playing better than Bob right now. He is. He is kind of playing better than Bob right now, just a little bit. I mean, not that we're panicking about Bob, but right now, you're right, Taras. That's why Maurice has been giving him more starts lately, Tarasov. The confidence is rising in him. And like I said, Bob's been beatable. of late here for the Florida Panthers and Nets. So that's something to factor in as well. All right, this one's going to be quick. You guys know where I'm going here already when you see the words Minnesota Wild. Minnesota minus 190, home favorites, 5.5 the total. 15-1, 18-4. That's all you need to know. Over the total for the Minnesota Wild. 15-1 to the over last 16, 18-4 to the over in 22 games since Quinn Hughes arrived. Now, this is going to be the ultimate test of this amazing run, though, because Calgary is not a dead nuts over team, not by any stretch of the imagination going into this game. But their last game did go over against the Anaheim Ducks 4-3, and Minnesota has been able to pull pretty much everybody into these higher scoring affairs, rope them into it. It is going to be Devin Cooley for the Calgary Flames. Bit of a Florida thing here where Cooley, a little bit better than Dustin Wolf of late for them in net. But nevertheless, one thing about Minnesota is even though Cooley's been decent, Minnesota finds ways to score goals tonight. There it is, streak ends tonight. Give me the under, says Aaron. I'll be honest, I don't love it as much as I normally would, these Minnesota overs, quite honestly, but we got to keep betting, especially when I see 5.5. There's 5.5s at FanDuel, so I am on it. And the first period over, because it's been a big run for Minnesota with that. I think it's 9-1 first period over run to go with that 15-1 full game over run. Over first period, over full game for me with the Flames and the Wild. And I like the draw here. This is a draw that I like because even though Calgary's losing 4 straight, they haven't won since they traded Rasmus Anderson to Vegas. 2 of those games have gone past regulation. And 3 straight games for the Minnesota Wild have gone past regulation. So they're not winning games easily right now. So I will take a shot with a very rich draw price, and it is rich here, plus 340. Pretty good indeed. Alex, what do you think here? Flames, Wild.
Just shopping around, seeing if you can find an even better price than that. And plus, you say 340. I see, 336, 340. It's probably the best thing you can get with that. I could see a draw. Said no, Calgary has played the Wild tough of late, but the way I'm going with this is just strictly overs. I like the Wild to get goals here as well. So Wild team total over 3.5. I got it even money along with the over by effective first period over. 1.5 at minus $1.18. I did lay minus 135 with an over 5.5. Wouldn't talk you out of a 6 either, but I'd say maybe wait, especially if you've seen the 5.5 at 140 or higher. Definitely wait a couple minutes in game and try and get that closer to 125 or 120.
Yeah, hopefully Calgary did finally score some goals last game, Tim. I mean, they had only scored, I think, 1 goal every game since they traded Anderson, but they did get to 3 against Anaheim. In the last, that's what if Calgary gets to 3, this game's going over. It will, in my opinion. But can you get 3 out of Calgary is going to be the question. What do you think here, Brady? Flames and Wild.
Yeah, I think they will get 3 or over. So I'll take that. I think that I watched Minnesota a little more since they've gotten and acquired Hughes. I like his 4-minute.
They're scoring
shifts.
And giving up more is definitely what we've seen. Yep.
Yeah, his 4-minute shifts are quite fun to watch. But no, I like what they're doing in Minnesota, but I think Calgary's got 4 in them tonight, so I'll go there.
There you go. We'll give you 2.5. 2.5 with the team totals minus 104 for the Calgary Flames here. And you're right, they have not been locking it down lately, the Minnesota Wild. That's been every bit the part of why they've been this crazy over team lately. It's not just that they're scoring. They've been giving up more goals definitely the last month or so than maybe they did earlier in the season. A couple props that I want to mention. It's really the same that I've gone with before with Minnesota. Hartman still on the top line value there with him. One player that I would look at for Calgary is Coronado or Sharon Govich. Those are the 2 I would target. They're both on the top line with the captain, Michael Backlund. They're the 2 most likely candidates as far as scoring for the Flames. All right, San Jose, Edmonton. Edmonton minus 200 home favorites, 6.5 the total in this game. I think the Sharks are value. I just do. I mean, I'll sign me up at plus 170 for this team. I know Edmonton is obviously coming off a couple of back-to-back home wins where they lit it up against Washington and Anaheim, but I don't trust them as far as the defensive end or Connor Ingram, who's going to start tonight for Edmonton. Ingram was in net for that Washington game, and he looked a little shaky in that one. To me, this is just, San Jose's got value. Now, my one concern is the head-to-head dominance, right? 9-1 in the last 10 for Edmonton. This has been a tough team to beat. The Sharks have been owned by the Oilers, but this is a different Sharks team now, much different. And like I said, with Edmonton, even in their 2 wins, they've given up 9 goals in their last 2 wins against Anaheim and Washington, but they scored 7 and 6. And that is why, obviously, they won those games. They outscored their defensive issues and their goaltending. San Jose with Askarov tonight, we'll see. I was expecting Nedeljkovic, but it is Yaroslav Askarov, who's been, a little bit more susceptible of late. Believe it or not, Nedeljkovic has been the better of the two lately, but it is Askarov. Matthias Ekholm, day-to-day for Edmonton, by the way, game-time decision for this game. Connor Ingram in net. I still think San Jose's live. I'll take them money line plus 170. I will take San Jose team total over 2.5, which I think is a great price on that, especially when you see Edmonton's defensive issues the last couple games. To get San Jose over 2.5 at minus 145. You could go over 3 at even money if you want to save the juice. But I think San Jose can get at least to that 3-goal mark. Obviously, I was interested in over 6.5, but no way now at minus 150 pregame am I betting that. And 7 in some spots with the total. I will wait, see if I can get something live at a better price. Alex, what do you think here? Sharks, Oilers?
I trust that the Sharks can at least get 4 goals here. So the only thing that I played is the flat 3 minus $1.15 over an MGM with that team total.
Yeah, the concern now with Askarov has been a little, let's be honest, up and down lately, inconsistent, is that Edmonton does get to him as well. So the team total might be actually worth your while. You can take the money line, but the team total might be the better of the safer of the two options. Because you could see San Jose losing a 5-4 game type of thing tonight. It's possible. But they could also win a 4-3 game or a 5-3 game. That's also possible. But the team total does seem like a little more stable bet for San Jose than the money line tonight. I agree with that. Brady, what do you think here? Sharks, Oilers?
Yeah, I got San Jose plus 170. I think that they'll do good. I watched them in person last Tuesday against Tampa, and they were skating well and had a lot of good shots, but just wasn't burying it. So hopefully they find back the net tonight.
Yeah, I think there's Vasilevsky was a big reason for that, of course, in that game. I remember that loss. He played pretty well that night for Tampa Bay against San Jose. But yeah, as far as props go for this game, as always with San Jose, there's always some good, take your pick on the top line, right? Will Smith, Macklin Celebrini, Colin Graff, they're all playing well. Pavel Regenda's probably got some good value too, second line for the San Jose Sharks with what we've seen from him. But those are always good looks as far as San Jose. For Edmonton, we're always interested who's with Draisaitl. It's Podkolzin and Kapanen. So I would say Podkolzin and Kapanen probably have a little bit of betting value there on that second line. One thing that's worth noting, too, they just called up this Josh Szymanski kid from Bakersfield, Edmonton. He's centering the third line with Savoy and Roslovic. So if you are buying into him, maybe getting on the board for the first time at the NHL level, that is something that you could maybe look at here. But Szymanski playing with Savoy and Roslovic on that third line for the Edmonton Oilers tonight. All right, next up, we've got Toronto and Seattle. Even money both sides. Total here. This is a total that was 6. Looks like most of the 6s are gone now. We're seeing 6.5. And you don't see that every day with Seattle. A total in the 6.5 range here in this game. Yeah, Szymanski played last game. I did mention that against Anaheim. This will be his second game. But yeah, Toronto, Seattle, even money, 6.5. It would be so Toronto. Now that everyone's off the bandwagon, everyone's given up. We're not making the playoffs. That's the general feeling among Leafs Nation right now, that we're out. We're done after that loss to Buffalo. It'd be so Leafs after everyone's jumped off the bandwagon. The bandwagon's completely empty for them to go to Seattle and win and play a hell of a game. It would be so Leafs to do that. Now, I'm not betting on the Leafs to do that right now in their current plight, but it would be so Toronto to do that. And to be honest, Toronto's dominated Seattle here in Seattle. They've played very well here at Climate Pledge Arena since the Kraken have entered the league, but there's no chance in hell I'm trusting Toronto to do that. They could. It would be so Leafs to do it, but I'm not betting them to do it. I'm not betting Seattle either. I don't trust Seattle fully. I know they played great against Washington 5-1, and I like the way they've been playing lately. They're still in the wild card race in the West. They definitely could. You could actually, they are a little bit in better form than the Leafs right now, but I'm staying far away from a side. I think the draw could be worth a look here. I could see it, East versus West, points at a premium. Maybe this could be a draw look. But I'm on over by Fecta. I know I had said I had given up with overs with Seattle after the last one stayed under in the first, but this one I could see it getting messy. You've got Stolars for Toronto. He didn't look good at all. Didn't look ready. Didn't look sharp against Vegas. It's almost like they rushed him back. I don't trust him to keep the puck out of the net right now. And Seattle has been scoring more goals lately. Jared McCann's been on fire. They've gotten other contributors for the Kraken stepping up. I could see Seattle scoring against a goalie that looked very shaky, Anthony Stolars, in his return on Friday. But Toronto could obviously score. That's the one thing they are doing. They're scoring goals. They're not defending. They're not keeping the puck out of the net right now, the Leafs. But they are scoring goals at the moment. And Joey Decord, who's going to be in net here, I believe, for the – no, it is Decord, yes. Decord has been a little more hit or miss, up and down, inconsistent. Like we're seeing a lot of 2, 3, 4, 2, 5, 3, 2, 5. I mean, that's been the pattern lately with Decord. You get some good starts and you get that little bit of a down start from him as well. So I will go with an over by Fecta here. Actually, I already did bet it, but I will make it an official recommendation here on this game here on the show. Don't know if I trust. I know I don't trust Toronto at the defensive end at the moment, but I could see them scoring as well, the Leafs here. So I think both teams contribute. Over by Fecta for me. It's maybe a small sprinkle on the draw as well. Alex, what do you think here? Toronto, Seattle.
I grabbed first period over minus 130 earlier today, but I'm also going to add both teams to score. I'm seeing a plus 148 in that first period over at FanDuel. Like I said, Stolars looked really rusty. He looked like he could have probably used a couple of games with the Marlies, perhaps, to kind of shake the rust off. But like I said, in that Seattle run, we're still talking about 11-2 in the last 13 games. I think we could see some balance, but I don't trust them enough to get over the 7 with that full over. So we're just sticking with first period over and first period both teams to score.
And one thing to mention too is it's not only that great long-term Seattle first period over run we've talked about with the 10-2, but Toronto's 8-2 to the first period over in their last 10, and 5 straight Toronto games have gone over in the first period. So with the over by Fecta, I think I like the first period over more. And this could be a game with such urgency, especially for Toronto, that both teams could find that back of the net in the opening period. That first period, both teams to score. This feels like a good candidate, Leafs Kraken, for one of those. Brady, what do you think here, Leafs Kraken?
Yeah, this was a tough one. It had me thinking. I didn't know what to do, but I'll do draw and over 6.5, I think. I just don't know what Toronto team's going to show up, like you said. And with the Kraken being 11-2 and they're 11-2 in their last, 13, I think. Yeah, no, I just, I think they stay on track, but I think it's going to be a close game. So I just take the draw with that with an over of 6.5.
There you go. All right, prop-wise, I do want to mention we got 4 players that have scored in back-to-back games. Just for those that like to ride these streaks. Jordan Eberle, Matty Beniers, Max Domi, believe it or not, for Toronto, back-to-back games with a goal, and Riker Evans for Seattle has scored in back-to-back games. And I'm with Jonathan. Got a sprinkle, 20-1, and he has scored from the blue line for Seattle in back-to-back games. So, like I said, that's good value. That's worth a shot there in my mind here for the Kraken. All right, we got 2 games left. That's pretty good. Like an hour, 13 minutes. We're down to just 2 games on a 15-game slate. Told you we keep a nice pace here. We got Dallas and Vegas. This is definitely one of the better games of the night. We've got Vegas, rather, minus 125 home favorites, 5.5, 6 the total. It's mostly 6, but there were a couple places that had 5.5 originally, and I'm one of the people that got on this game. Well, I'm on over by Fecta, but I grabbed the 5.5 at minus 130. There is still over 5.5 minus 134 at FanDuel. So if you have FanDuel, you can get the 5.5 there. I like the over by Fecta here, and I like Dallas first period, first goal here, first goal, first period, Dallas, and Dallas money line here. Tough spot for Vegas, right? Long road trip out east, Eastern Canadian trip, Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa. They did all of those cities and vicinities on the road, and now they're coming back home off that lengthy trip. And we've seen evidence of Vegas a couple of times this year not do well in these spots off a road trip. I remember the last time they were off a 4+ game roadie, they came back home to T-Mobile. You know who they lost to in that first game? New Jersey. Devils aren't exactly a world beater. And the Devils came in there and beat Vegas in that first game back from that road trip. So tough spot for Vegas. They're not defending well the last couple games. Ottawa lit them up. Even in Montreal, they blew a lead. They couldn't hold it. They lose to the Canadiens, and their goaltending now has to be put into question. Aiden Hill's been ordinary since he's been back from injury, and he'll get the start tonight again for Vegas. Jake Ottinger for Dallas. Dallas, obviously, a good road dog. There you go, says Jonathan. 10-3 for Dallas as a road underdog this year. So, yeah, I like Dallas here. First goal, first period. First period money line as well. Full game money line. And give me the over by Fecta here with Stars and Golden Knights as well. And by the way, I believe both previous meetings went over the total this year. Dallas. Yes, they did. I think they were both 4-3 final scores the previous games with the Stars and the Knights. So we like all those looks for this one. Alex, what do you think here? Dallas, Vegas.
Yeah, right there with you on Dallas money line. I grabbed that earlier at even money. Jonathan Davis saying in the chat that they're 10-3 as a road dog this year.
Yeah.
I also like that team total. I got a flat 3 minus $1.10 earlier at BetMGM, but I will also add first goal, first period. You can get that up to plus 140 over at FanDuel.
And this has been a tried and true. Now, it's been strongest with the 5, 6, 7 game road trips coming back home. This is only a 4-gamer, but you have to factor in the destinations of those road games. Toronto, like way in the east in Canada. Cross-border travel all the way back to Vegas. So even though it was only a 4-game trip, not a 5, 6, 7-gamer, still not the easiest scheduling spot here tonight for the Golden Knights, in my mind. What do you think here, Brady? Dallas, Vegas?
Yeah, I think I'm aligned with you. I think Dallas plus 105. I'll do the over 6. I think that Golden Knights are just going to be exhausted from their travel that they did and coming back home. I think they're going to just be flat, no legs, and I think Dallas has got them.
Yeah, and Dallas, like I said, they're trying to get on a little bit, get some momentum going, because Dallas has certainly had their ups and downs. Remember, Dallas went through a pretty lengthy losing streak for a bit, and we'll see if they can get things rolling. Matty Duchene has scored in back-to-back games for Dallas, so if you're looking to ride a goal-scoring streak there, you could do that for him. Let me see, is our guy Ritskovian still on the top line? He is, putting on the Ritz with Johnston and Rantanen on the top line. So Justin Ritskovian for Dallas on the top line. Great prop value there as well. Aaron's saying this is the night Mikko Rantanen explodes. I see. He likes Rantanen 2 goals, 13-1. Yeah, I'm starting to pay more attention to Aaron's props, man. Like, he's been hitting a good amount of them, especially really since the day one that he's been in our chat and been part of our family. But like I said, lately, I think he's been doing quite well with the props. So I'm paying more attention to them and highlighting them in the chat as well. So there you go. Like I said, tricky spot for Vegas. Dallas has actually beaten them twice already, I believe, this year as well. So the Stars have done well against the Golden Knights, and I wouldn't be shocked if that continues here tonight. All right, our last game for this mammoth card. Actually, although we will give you a quick synopsis, albeit it won't be much because, we got to see how the games play out tonight, but we will give you a quick synopsis about Chicago-Columbus for tomorrow night after this game, because we aren't on the air. No show tomorrow. Don't come looking for us at 2:00 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. We will not be on. So just be aware of that. But our last game tonight, Anaheim-Vancouver. Anaheim minus 150, road favorites, 6.5 the total. Now, some books have as low as minus 135 to minus 140. So shop around on this, because if you can get below minus 150, I believe Anaheim is still a good bet, as long as you lay less than that. I mean, it's Vancouver, man. They're awful. I mean, I don't know what more we can say about the Canucks. They're a terrible hockey team right now. And Anaheim's not likely to take them for granted, because Anaheim lost in their previous game against Edmonton on the back-to-back when Ville Husso was in net. And obviously things kind of got away from them. There is some good news for the Ducks, too. Troy Terry, one of the multiple injured pieces for them, is going to be back in the lineup tonight. And that's great news for the Ducks going into this game. So it looks like Troy Terry is going to, expected at least, to make his return. Let me see. Has joined the Ducks in Vancouver. Yeah, they haven't updated it yet, but I'm pretty sure I saw he's back. Carlson's still out. McTavish is still out, it looks like, but having Terry back certainly will help. I do expect Lukas Dostal to be in net for Anaheim. It's not a back-to-back, so I would expect him back in net, especially Coach Q saw what he got out of Billy Husso in Edmonton. I'm pretty damn sure we're going to see, obviously, Dostal tonight. And Nikita Tolopilo is actually going to get the start tonight for Vancouver. And Lankinen's had a rough go. So I get what Adam Foote's thinking here, but it's not like Nikita Tolopilo is freaking Roberto Luongo in his prime in comparison to Kevin Lankinen right now. Tolopilo gave up 6 to Edmonton, 6 to Montreal. He was better in his last start. 2 goals allowed to San Jose, but still, like I said, very, very raw goaltender at the NHL level for Tolopilo coming into tonight. So I laid it with Anaheim minus 140. And this is another one of those money line team total over splits for me with the Anaheim Ducks. With the minus 140 is what I got with the money line, and I split it with Anaheim team total over 3.5 at around even money, minus 108. Alex, what do you think here, Anaheim, Vancouver?
Once again, we keep it simple here. Vancouver sucks. Topo Chico's a bum. Give me Anaheim in regulation plus $1.10. Anaheim team total over 3.5 minus $1.10.
I think if you replay that or you take that analysis from Alex just now and compare it to what he said the other day about San Jose, Vancouver, I think he repeated it almost word for word by verbatim. Yep. And of course, that was a rocking chair the other night with San Jose. It couldn't have been easier for cashing with them against Vancouver. So hopefully it's just as easy tonight with the quack, 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 quack with the Quackers here, the Anaheim Ducks. Brady, what do you think here, Anaheim, Vancouver?
Yep, this one was easy. I got the Ducks and over in 6.5.
Hard to argue with that. Now, the only question with the over 6.5 is, does Vancouver score enough to help you? They did the other night.
Yeah. No, I'm going. I think they will. I think they will.
Yep, they did the other night because it was.
You can also. This is a good game for a parlay. We always do this a lot on the show. We'll look at, say, Anaheim combined with a 4.5 or a 5.5 to the over, and you knock that money line price down, and you're also giving yourself the benefit of the doubt with the goal, knocking that 6.5 down a goal or two. So this is a good candidate for that.
Yeah, no doubt. So, like I said, I definitely think it's a situation right now for Vancouver that while the prices, are still decent, and still reasonable, because I think if Vancouver loses over and over again and keeps losing, eventually you're going to see teams laying more than minus 150 in Vancouver against them. You're going to see minus 160 or 70 even. Them priced as road favorites. So definitely, like I said, at the moment, I think there's still some pretty solid value to fade the Vancouver Canucks. Oh, by the way, we have to wish a happy birthday to a member of the Vancouver Canucks. It was indeed his birthday yesterday.
Experience.
Happy birthday, Beckett Seneca, yesterday, a birthday, and obviously he had the hat trick earlier this week. So, like I said, he's obviously had a great rookie season here for the Ducks. Well done by him, and like I said, happy birthday. It was his birthday. It's too bad they weren't playing on his birthday. We've seen these birthday angles come through with players scoring on their birthday, but nevertheless, Seneca, his birthday yesterday. As far as props go, he is on the top line with Granlund and Killorn, so if you're looking at a prop for him, I wouldn't talk anyone out of it, but that is probably of interest to me here. I'm just looking to see who else has been chipping in lately for the Anaheim Ducks as far as props are concerned. But McTavish, by the way, he's out, but never mind. He's out. He's not back tonight. But, right now I would say Granlund, has scored in 3 of the last 10, and he's on that top line too. So Granlund, Seneca, Killorn even, that top line's been pretty good lately for the Anaheim Ducks. Probably worth a shot as far as props go. All right, before we wrap up, get to a bargain bin special and best bets. We are not on tomorrow, so we are going to just give you a quick little synopsis preview, what we might be targeting, what we might be looking at for the one and only Friday game on the NHL slate, and it is the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Chicago Blackhawks. We do have numbers for this game, even though it is tomorrow. We've got Columbus minus 140 road favorites here in Chicago. The total looks like 6 right now is what we are looking at across the board here in this game. Again, this game taking place on Friday. I'm definitely not fading Columbus right now with the Rick Bowness Express. 6-1 with Bowness as the head coach. They've certainly got the rest advantage too. They'll catch Chicago on the second night of back-to-back games after being in Pittsburgh tonight. So definitely some situational advantages here for the Jackets tomorrow. You got to admit, minus 140 on the road doesn't seem like the most bargain price here on the Blue Jackets. But at the moment, it's either I take Columbus or I don't bet the game from a side perspective. Although they did save Spencer Knight for this game, and we know he is the better of the two goalies here for Chicago. So do keep that in mind. This actually, I'm not Mr. Under, but with Knight in net, Columbus is trying to play a little tighter defensively, and I have a feeling it won't be Merzlikins. I think it's going to be Greaves in net for Friday because I think Rick Bowness is going to start getting a little bit of a back-and-forth rotation going with his goaltenders. If it's Greaves and Knight, this would be lean Columbus, lean under for me. I could see it being that way on a back-to-back here in this game. But definitely right now, from a side perspective, I can tell you, I am not going to be going against the Columbus Blue Jackets at the moment until I see a distinct, clear cooling off period following the obviously the hiring of Rick Bowness, where they've played great. I would say keep riding with the wave that is Mr. 1,000 games in the NHL, Charlie Coyle. I mean, he just keeps playing great for Columbus. The goal prop's probably worth a look for him tomorrow in that game. I would certainly consider it. That's definitely a prop that wouldn't be surprised if I'm on that. Alex, early thoughts looking ahead to Friday, Columbus, Chicago.
My early leans are actually a little bit opposite. I'm leaning towards Chicago and the draw in this spot, and that's predicated on what I believe could happen tonight. I think this is going to be an ugly game for the Hawks. I think this is going to be a loss. I think this is going to be an over. So I think, like you said, I lean with more of an under kind of styled game. Could be a lower and slower game with Knight and Greaves. Like you said, projected to start. Knight will start for the Hawks, but projecting Greaves. So that's why I'm leaning toward draw here. But I think the Dogs live here, even though we said 2-5 on the second night of back-to-backs. But I think that's the reason why Blashill's starting to switch this up now, going with Soderblom to start these back-to-backs and then going with Knight to round it out. So, like I said, we'll have everything official. This will be whatever we have, be it side, total, player plop, or otherwise, that will be available at patreon.com/iceguys. So you can get our final card tomorrow, even though we won't be on the air. But like I said, my initial lean, Hawks and draw for tomorrow.
All right, Hawks and draw for Alex. Initial leans. Again, our full card for this one game on Friday will be posted on Friday, the day of the game, as always, on the Patreon page, patreon.com/iceguys, just $10 a month. Again, if you haven't signed up yet, you're missing out. Get on board. We will have our card for this game. Like I said, no show tomorrow, but we will have the card for this game posted for tomorrow on the Patreon page. Brady, any early thoughts here, Columbus, Chicago?
I'm with you. I'm on your camp. I think that it's tough to bet against Columbus right now, how they've been playing with their new coach and how the locker room has come together. Tonight, I think, will dictate tomorrow. So, but right now, I can't bet against Columbus. I'm with Columbus.
All right, there you go. Good stuff. It's hard to right now. Kent Johnson, 3 goals in the last 2 games from Nick Alvento against Chicago. And I'm waiting for Kent Johnson to get going because I do think it's better for him with Bowness as opposed to Evason, as the head coach of this. It looks like it's better for everybody, Bowness as opposed to Evason right now, but especially for Kent Johnson. But, yeah, I don't mind that look as far as a goal prop for him. All right, there you have it. I mean, inside 90 minutes to get through 15 games and a 16th game look ahead to tomorrow is amazing. It's absolutely incredible. So I'm proud of the fact we kept a good pace. We hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. That's 90 minutes of wall-to-wall analysis right there in 16 games. It's pretty damn good. Brady, great job. Your first appearance here on the Ice Guys show as well. All right, you know what, Brady? You know what we'll do? And because you've been on for 90 minutes and we appreciate it. We're going to let you run. We'll get your bargain bin special and your best bet right now because we got ads to run and it's still going to be, about another 10 minutes. But you've definitely given us enough of your time. You did a great job first time on the show. All right, bargain bin special of the night. And I already know what it is because he told me what he picked here for bargain bin special of the night. He is, Alex goes to a lot of Blackhawks, and we talked about how Brady goes to, is from the Tampa area, goes to a lot of Lightning games, is drafted by the Tampa Bay Lightning, of course, over 20 years ago. So naturally, bargain bin special of the night from Brady Greco is a member of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Who did you choose?
Yeah, I got Dominic James scoring a goal today.
There you go. And it is a good price on Dominic James as well for the Tampa Bay Lightning. You can get him definitely north of plus 500 was the last best price I saw. Yeah, plus 590 for Dominic James of the Tampa Bay Lightning. And again, he's been playing in the top 6 forward role. So Dominic James, Tampa Bay, plus 590 for Brady Greco with his bargain bin special of the night. All right, best bet. Brady, the floor is yours. What do you got?
Yeah, I think tonight's best bet will be, let me just go through my notes real quick. I don't want to leave anyone out, but I will go, I think Pittsburgh, Chicago. I got Pittsburgh over Chicago tonight. Sorry about that, Alex, but I just
Hey, he thinks Pittsburgh's going to win, actually.
no, I just think this game's going to be interesting. When I was going over my notes yesterday, last night, this was one I was kind of going back and forth with. But I like the veteran presence that Pittsburgh has. Malkin's been scoring, and I think Crosby has some things to teach Bedard tonight. So that's my best bet of the show.
Do you prefer team total or regulation on Pittsburgh?
I prefer regulation.
Regulation line. All right, there you go. Pitt and regulate. Oh, not me. Sorry about that. There we go. Pittsburgh in regulation for Brady Greco with his best bet here for this Thursday NHL slate. Brady, great stuff. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it very much. We'll get a player suite interview recorded down the road with Brady, and that'll be up for our Patreon members, which will talk more about his hockey background and also some of the stuff he's doing today as well. So that'll be coming up in the near future. But Brady, thanks a lot. Appreciate it very much. Did a great job, and we'll bring you back down the road. But thanks again.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. It's been an honor.
All right. Oh, geez, very, very, very kind. Very kind. Thank you very much, Brady. Appreciate it. Enjoy the games tonight. There we go. Brady Greco, thanks to him for joining us here on this edition of the Ice Guys. A reminder as well, make sure you check out wizardsportspicks.com. Again, we've got obviously daily premium picks. Get a long-term subscription if you'd like as well. 3-day, 30-day, and 3-month and 1 year, all sports, all access packages. Number 1 in the NFL and NHL at Wizard Sports Picks. Profitable NBA season as well. So again, make sure you check it out. wizardsportspicks.com. Excited to mention that. And of course, patreon.com/Ice Guys, just $10 per month. Guys, we're blown away. I mean, the amount of signups and people becoming members of the Patreon page, it's astonishing. We can't thank you enough. We appreciate your support. Your support means the world to this show, and really to keep it going long term, because we envision us doing this for years and years and years to come. And your Patreon dollars and membership helps us immensely to make that a reality. So again, make sure you check it out. $10 per month, patreon.com/Ice Guys. Goalie charts, totals charts, daily betting cards, sides, totals, player props posted each and every day on the Patreon page. So make sure you check it out. We've had 2 live betcasts this week. We enjoyed them very much. We got many more of those on the way later in the season. So get on board. Again, your membership goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it going long term. So check it out. Get on board. $10 per month. Oh, by the way, during the Olympic break, we will have Olympic hockey cards posted as well. All our Olympic hockey action and bets will be posted on the Patreon page as well. So make sure you're aware of that. Check it out. Patreon.com/Ice Guys.
I was gonna say that we're gonna have Olympic cards posted. With some of the games also being early in the morning the next day, we may try to do some shows at night. That's a possibility that we might mull over. Also, as you mentioned, you talked about with Brady Greco, we're going to have player suite interviews. We're going to be recording a few of those in February, hoping to drop some of those during the Olympic break and afterward too. So this is a great time to sign up to Patreon. Don't think just because the NHL is going on break that you're not going to do anything. You're still going to have coverage. And of course, we have our chat rooms as well. There's other sports going on in February. Super Bowl will be going on in February. So we'll be engaged in those chat rooms and some of those other sports during that break. So this is a great time to sign up to Patreon. You're not going to get left out in the cold in February, despite the NHL taking a break. But also want to check out as well the Ice Guys store. That's over at iceguys.myspreadshop.com. You got a special going on for the next 4 days right now. You can save 25% on all items in the store right now. You hit the redeem button at checkout, put your items in your cart, 25% will be taken off at checkout. That's the next 4 days. That's over at the Ice Guys shop. That's iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
All right. Yeah. Sorry. They got to bring it up. There we go. Yeah. Get to that website. 25% off the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. All right. Bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
Where the kings and queens shop.
Thanks to all our sponsors, including Royal Cannabis. Check them out, royalcannabisshop.com, 20% off with promo code ICEGUYS. All right, bargain bin special of the night. How about not one, but two bargain bin special winners on Wednesday on a 3-game card, no less. Charlie Coyle, Columbus for Alex, and John Gabriel Pajot of the New York Islanders for me. We'll see if we can add to the bargain bin special win tote here tonight. Alex, we'll start with you. Bargain bin special of the night, only 15 games to choose from.
I've got two from the same game. It's that Penguins-Blackhawks game. First, we'll start with the home team. Like him moving up the line. You can just shop around and try and grab within the bargain bin price, highest price available, plus 350, Justin Brazeau to score a goal for the Penguins. That's an anytime goal for him. That's bargain bin special number one. Bargain bin special number two comes from the visitors, Chicago Blackhawks. I'm looking for Tyler Bertuzzi to get on the board first for the Hawks. So that's first road team goal, plus 700 for Tyler Bertuzzi for the Hawks to go along with Justin Brazeau. Anytime goal, plus 350. Those are my two bargain bin specials for this Thursday night.
All right, excellent stuff. Good indeed. Justin Brazeau is a good one. That's on my prop card for sure tonight as well. I like that one quite a bit. As far as bargain bin special for me here for this massive, and it is massive, this Thursday slate, I'm going to give you a couple that really do stand out here for me tonight. I'm going to go actually a little bit down the board with Winnipeg tonight with Cole Koepke. I don't know. I see this price staring at me. I'm taking it. He scored in back-to-back games, and he started his career with Tampa. It just makes too much sense that Cole Koepke scores tonight for the Winnipeg Jets against the team he started his career with. So 11-1, plus 1,100. It's quite the price. Cole Koepke for the Winnipeg Jets for my first bargain bin special of the night. My second bargain bin special of the night, hey, they've struggled defensively lately. He's up on the top line for Dallas. Matty Robinson's mentioned him. Putting on the Ritz, Justin Ritzkovian, plus 700 for the Dallas Stars. So there you have it. Justin Ritzkovian, Dallas, plus 700. And Cole Koepke, that's right, for Winnipeg at plus 1,100. What a price that is if it hits. Those are my two bargain bin specials here for this Thursday night. All right, best bets. Alex, what do you like for best bet?
Let's head up the street to Grand Casino Arena. And we've been loving these overs with the Minnesota Wild, but I'm going to take a little bit of a detour, go first period over with my best bet here. Flames Wild, first period over 1.5, minus 118, best price available. That's my Thursday best bet.
My best bet, we've only made a first goal, first period look, a best bet maybe once or twice. Tonight's the night to make it another one. Give me Colorado, first goal, first period tonight, plus 110. Right from the horse's mouth, the head coach, Jared Bednar. Flat, listless, weren't moving our feet. That was some of the phrases he used to describe that loss to Ottawa after the game last night. Look for them to come out and pounce early here. And a lot of the times teams on the back-to-back are at their best early in the game. So Colorado, first goal, first period, plus 110 for my best bet here for this Thursday. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. What a show. We're happy to have a day off. Trust me, tomorrow. It'll be nice. It's been a busy week, 2 betcasts as well at night. But we will be back with you Saturday, noon Eastern, for another big NHL slate. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith and our guest, Brady Greco, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Thursday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. Back on Saturday, noon Eastern, for another edition of the Ice Guys.